So today we are happy to host the first ever LEAP Entrepreneur Spotlight Speaker event. LEAP is a 10-month program that's offered by the Jim Moran College of Entrepreneurship and the Jim Moran Institute at Florida State University, and it seeks to help those in the Big Bend region to start and grow businesses of their own.
And today we are speaking with Lewis Thurston II. He started VEZ Productions, which is a music production and event production company. And again, like she said, it's in the whole Big Bend area. But he's born and raised in Tallahassee, and we're excited to hear about his experiences as an entrepreneur today.
Yeah, awesome. Lewis, are you ready to jump right into it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome.
Go for it.
Yeah, sounds good. So as a journalist, I'm always interested in learning not just about what a business does, but also the evolution of how it came to be. So would you be able to share with us a little bit about VEZ Productions, also what you do, and just the backstory of how you started your business?
Yes. So VEZ Productions was started by myself and two other individuals back in 2019, right before the pandemic. We all used to produce and record our friends at our house, and we said, hey, we don't want to do this and jeopardize where we live. So let's definitely start doing this elsewhere at a different location. So I seeked out a location, created VEZ Productions from that point, and we all collaborated to build a space up. It is over off of 1872 Mill Street, which is near Steelyard Gym, if anybody's familiar. But it's also behind FAMU off of FAMU Way. And I started pretty much wanting to create a studio to stage or stage to studio experience for people who were interested in music, people who were interested in performing. And I've been recording, producing music for almost 15 years. And it's been quite the journey. And I've also been DJing. And so I've just taken that and elevated it to what we have today.
So you've been doing it for 15 years. Was there a specific thing that made you say, "Oh, I have to start this business now"? What was kind of the factor that pushed you into starting VEZ Productions fully?
I would say wanting to make sure I continue to put a value on the actual service of being an audio engineer. I've been an audio engineer for a minute with the city of Tallahassee, and even before that, just kind of helping different people with production, sound, lighting, all of that stuff. And so just wanted to be able to really turn that into something that was more sustainable. Because I would always DJ, but it would just be kind of like a hobbyist. And so I just wanted to make sure I put value on it. And the first time that I had my first paid gig, that was in 2013. And so that then made me seek out how to become more of a professional with doing the services and also offering the service and the advice to others. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what's your favorite part about owning your business and being an entrepreneur, and also just music in general?
So it's two parts to that question. I used to be the kid in class who would make beats on the table. Um, I was in countless talent shows, freestyling with my friends during lunch break. And so from that moment, I've always had a thing for the way music makes people react or their mood changes, and just kind of see the way different songs affected people. So having a love for creating my own music and then creating the words to go with that music led me to becoming a DJ, trying out different beats and learning how to really give the crowd an experience. And so that's where my love for music translated into my business. Um, Give me the first part of that question because I want to make sure I answered both parts. Yeah,
Yeah. So what's like your favorite part about owning your own business and working for yourself and being an entrepreneur?
got it. Working for myself, there are no limits. You are your own boss, and that's a gift and a curse. I will say that. It does come with its ebbs and flows or challenges on a daily basis, and just learning how to stand out and offer something different always is a challenge for me to just figure out what could I be doing that's different, that's better. that'll make me unique.
That's awesome.
So speaking of favorites, out of all the events that you've ever done, do you have one that is your favorite, or do you have one, if you have too many to choose a favorite, one that really stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll co-sign that for sure. Anything working with Marina, JMI is always going to be a fun experience, and it'll have a soft spot in my heart. But the other one would have to be Dance Marathon at the Civic Center, which is the 36-hour marathon that they do. And I've DJ'd that for almost 6 years. And I used to do, or I still do, all of the high school marathons as well. So the high school marathons consist of 5 hours at 5 different high schools. And at the end of those, we do a big one at FSU, and it's always been amazing to kind of just be able to, one, play at the Civic Center, two, see the crowd react to my dance music and electronic music, because I don't really often play that a lot. And having, I guess, more people who can really understand what it takes to be a DJ. I'm able to showcase that a lot more there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. No.
No, that's awesome. So in entrepreneurship, it's not always easy. What are the biggest challenges that you've faced as an entrepreneur, and what helped you get through them and manage them and overcome it?
Biggest challenges I've faced as an entrepreneur, right? Okay. Pricing. Just always trying to figure out what is that sweet spot and making sure that everyone still gets what they signed up for, but a quality product is offered. Um, when I was in the LEAP program here at JMI, shout out. One of the biggest things that I think stuck with me is that we had a speaker who came in and they said being an entrepreneur is like falling off a cliff while also building the plane that you're going to need to survive the fall. Yeah. So it's the challenge. I would say it's a love and hate relationship. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Do you have any specific techniques or anything that you use to help manage that?
Yes. ChatGPT for one. Two, just learning more how to accept the roles of delegation. That's a big one for me. Is just being able to take off some of the hats that I've had to put on, because there's often times where you'll wear 17 hats and you'll have to take one off, put the other one on. You might be wearing 5 different hats at one time. So just being able to bring people in and openly surrender kind of like these certain tasks that you know how to do just because it's muscle memory, but also being able to get other people to come in and help you with that, and then being able to delegate, communicate what you need help with and how to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely in my limited time with interacting with other people that are in your business, I've seen, really great people. Shout out Nate. He was
Shout
my
out to
partner
Nate.
for the consulting project also, and he does great work. So yeah, delegation I've always heard is an important thing. So speaking of the dance marathon event, I know you also spoke on another community event that you did with the T-Pain street naming ceremony. Um, how do you work to give back to your community, and what do you feel uh, how important has giving back to the community been for VEZ Productions?
I would say bringing people in to offer knowledge, if they're willing to learn, has been one way that I've really given back. We've done a few school supply drives as well. We've done uh, holiday supply drives as well. And really, for me, I think seeing someone in the moment, figuring out how to make their mic sound better. If I can be there and offer my assistance, I tend to step up to the plate instead of just watching them fail or watching them struggle. And then also giving audio tips in under a minute. That's something that I used to do. I'm about to start doing them again, but just giving like quick insight or helpful tips that I can post on YouTube, Instagram, something like that, and just kind of each one teach one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, speaking of helping out the community, Lewis, you have led a very successful career as an entrepreneur, and you're certainly a role model for a lot of us students and many of the people in the community in Tallahassee. So, how would you define success, and what advice would you give to, entrepreneurship students or aspiring entrepreneurs?
I would define success as a never ending moving target. You'll find it deep within yourself that you'll always want to strive for more. And you'll oftentimes neglect the fact that you aren't where you were a year ago. And so stopping to take in the moment as an entrepreneur is always hard. Because it's so many challenges and people don't see so much behind the scenes that you'll almost become flooded with the emotions of trying to hide the struggles so that people can kind of see this polished look. But the entrepreneurship journey consists of those struggle days. And so kind of just being able to be transparent through the success is, I would say, probably the biggest challenge of coming into your own success, because everybody's version of success will vary. But give me the second part of that question, because I want to make sure I ain't missing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was also just how would you define success, and then what advice would you give to students or anybody who is like aspiring to be an entrepreneur?
Got it. Anybody who is aspiring to be an entrepreneur or students who are interested in being an entrepreneur, I would say define your why. That's a big one. And if you can find something that you're passionate about, you'll never work a day in your life. So turn your passion into paycheck. Yeah.
Would you say that trying to do something that you are super passionate about is your biggest motivator for being an entrepreneur? Or, what kind of keeps you moving forward every single day? Is it just continuing to strive for more? Is it seeing where you've come from?
I would say it's a little bit of both, but then it's like, even in today's world and economy, job security is not secure anymore. And so being able to define what your outcome is based off your energy and effort solely really defines, I would say, how that shapes someone's view on entrepreneurship. Um, I don't know. I just really wanted to say that. But give me the question one more time just to make sure.
I just said basically what have been your biggest motivators to continue pushing VEZ Productions to kind of where it's come today and to where it's going.
Yeah, I would have to add to that. Hashtag TryViz, which is our hashtag, but I really dislike seeing or hearing about people having a very hard or a very bad experience with audio at an event, or if they heard something and it was just like, man, this audio could have been better. And it's just like, well, you should have tried this. So yeah, that's
Okay.
that's kind of like my motivator, just kind of like to hear that there were people or an issue and knowing that we could still possibly fill a void, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you're doing weddings, important events like that. That's a huge thing.
Yes.
Obviously that can't, that's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
So gotta be better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so at VEZ Productions, you work with a lot of different people, different types of clients, musicians, producers, interns. So how do you manage and lead such a diverse group of people and make sure they're all heard for making your project successful?
I do my best to be as inclusive as possible, but you also have to understand that you can't please everybody. Working with so many different personalities, you kind of have to study how personalities mix and mesh, especially kind of like with musicians or artists, or if you're working with a bride and groom, the bridesmaids might not be as charming as the bride, and you might have to deal with de-escalating situations on the day of. So it begins to become, I guess, a test of how bad do you want it, and then just making it work or just always stepping up to the plate to make sure you remain professional and provide a quality service. Did I answer the question?
Yeah,
Okay, just
absolutely.
want to
Yeah,
make sure.
that's
Just want
perfect.
to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So when you do look ahead to the future, what are you most excited about at VEZ Productions in the next few years? Where do you kind of see VEZ Productions, say, in 5 years, 10 years?
Expansion, expansion, expansion. Tallahassee has a weird way of creating so many false realities. In the business world, you have to look beyond the city limits. And whenever I say look beyond city limits, I mean go venture out, even while you're traveling, enjoying a vacation. That could be a potential new gig. Case in point, me DJing my residency in Destin, Florida, for spring break and this upcoming summer has been a testament to me going over there on vacation one weekend and just talking, letting people know I DJ, asking them if they ever need entertainment. So kind of just turning any moment into a potential future gig. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember you joined the Destin Chamber of Commerce too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So definitely, yeah, everything that you can do to always be promoting yourself, marketing yourself to different types of people, that can, obviously pay off in the short term, but it can always lead to long term stuff like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just figuring out ways to remain humble, but also what's going to set you apart. So remaining intentional about not becoming complacent. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you could go back and you could talk to yourself, when you first started VEZ Productions, when the idea first came to you, what advice would you have for yourself and would you do anything differently on your journey?
I would say really one more time. Just repeat the question.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like if you could go back to your, when you first initially had your idea, or in your early 20s, what advice would you have and would you do anything differently on your entrepreneurial journey?
Okay. So I wouldn't do too much differently, except becoming more aware of how to pay myself first. And I would tell myself if I had to go back in time to talk to myself before I started my first company, Positive Generation. Got to shout them out, or got to shout us out because that was a journey and a learning lesson altogether. Because we did positive music, we would perform at the fairgrounds, we would perform at football games, basketball game, halftime shows, all kind of things. I would just tell myself, don't spread yourself too thin, and then never give up because it's going to get hard, but if you can see it through, dreams will come true. I don't know. Nah, I just wanted to rap. But if you can see it through, if you can see it through, like the memes say, you got to see it through, my boy. Just wanting to really dig deep and figure out like what is going to keep you going, even when you don't feel like getting up. I mean, there's some days that I don't feel like getting up, but I still think about it like, hey, if you don't get up, you won't necessarily spend too much, but then if you don't get up, you'll also maybe miss out on the opportunity. And so you kind of have to give yourself that pep talk to motivate yourself to kind of get up and get out there. And so I would tell myself it's going to be some times that you're going to feel like not doing it, but just stay the course.
So back to what you had said on your previous answer too, talking about being humble but being intentional with separating yourself and showing yourself as, say better than the competition. What do you feel the most important thing that you would want clients to understand, that you would want everyone in this room to understand, that separates VEZ Productions apart from the other companies, production companies in Tallahassee or around Florida?
Try VEZ because there's so many things that a lot of clients don't think about. And so just having almost kind of like all the hypotheticals answered and then being able to offer that pre-gig or that consultation security. That's what I call it. Just being able to securely let the client know even before the job is done, or just make sure that they feel like you're going to actually care about offering their services. So really just digging deep to find the compassion in the services that you offer, being able to translate that into professionalism, and then offering the product. And if the product is you doing DJing or a corporate event or microphones, lighting, any of that stuff, being able to really give the client an experience. I think that's what really sets VEZ apart. And we may have some people in the crowd who could attest to that. Shout out to Institute of Music Business in the building. We did have Miss Katrina Tuggerson in the building with the Capital City Chamber of Commerce, who I've worked with as well. And then Marina, of course. I appreciate you and always trusting us, but just being able to offer a quality service that people can trust.
Yeah, for sure. I remember you talking about during our consulting project last semester, one couple who they had paid someone a deposit at a fair event or something, and they got the deposit taken, and you giving them a deal, even a deal that doesn't necessarily work as well for your company, but still providing that service. This last spring break, just in the last week, my brother, we called for a pizza place, and they didn't answer for like 8 minutes, and they had them on hold. They just were really weird. They hung up at one point, and when you don't provide a good service, we didn't want to spend our money there, so we went somewhere else. And obviously, for something even more important, big events, say dance marathon or weddings, I feel like severing yourself, providing that service, focusing on the customer is the biggest thing. And
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, man. Focusing on the customer or the client, making sure you put them first. Giving them that Burger King experience, have it your way. So it's kind of like you really have to relinquish a lot of pride and a lot of control when you're making sure that you can deliver your product but well to the customer or the client's expectations.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, awesome.
How are we doing on time? You have a further question?
Questions? Glad you asked. So, what got me into being a DJ is, like I said, making beats on the table. I was introduced to two computer softwares by my goddad. Rest in peace. He showed me FL Studio, which was one, and then he showed me Virtual DJ. And from both of those two computer programs, I installed them, downloaded them, went to work, just figuring out what button does what, and learning that I could make my own instrumentals then led me to taking those instrumentals, one, rapping on them, and then producing my own music to then learn how to DJ, or using those songs to actually DJ. And so being able to mix in my songs with other popular songs and making mixes is what kind of let me know that I would be interested in DJing, but also providing a sonic experience to people who are trying to have a good time. Yeah, man. Yeah.
At what point did you realize you were at the point where you could take this from something maybe you enjoyed or just like a hobby or a side hustle to something that was like a full-fledged, full-time business?
When I got my first payment, man. I'm telling you, man, that payment just validates so much. And even if it was not like what the standard going rate was, you still were able to provide something and someone saw value in it. And so when I think about, that very first moment when you get your first payment, you are then classified as a professional, even though you're still learning, and it's always a learning experience. But I would definitely say that moment when you get your first paycheck is whenever you're like, yeah, I could actually do this for real, and it's not just something that I could play around with. Yeah.
So, what is something that you could see yourself doing to be more innovative as a DJ? So, you have the standard way, but think about how you have TikTok, where you mentioned it in your first response here about it was like a virtual component.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of ways to expand? And also, what would make it innovative, like current in time? So not just a standard DJ that we've seen for years,
Yeah.
from the 90s, 2000s, all the way, probably to 2010. But coming into current day, is there something that we're not seeing outside of the TikTok DJing that could expand your business that you may not have thought of, or that you're like, you know what, I'm considering doing this, that can help spread the word on your talent?
Yes, I've considered several different things to expand or just to break the mold of the traditional experience. And it's kind of like, what could make someone having a song request be more seamless? Or what could make, if I'm not able to DJ an event physically, how could I still maybe stream to their location, but still offer it at a service rate? Making sure I stay ahead of the curve with the AI stuff as well, because even Spotify now has the automatic DJ where it'll mix it in, and it still just doesn't hit the same because it can't read the room. And so staying privy to, or I guess staying aware of like how to make sure you still matter in the DJ world as a human. And it's like, I've made mixes before, seen my mixes get flagged for copyright on YouTube. I was there during COVID. The pandemic made a lot of DJs just become out of nowhere overnight celebrities. But I was oftentimes trying to figure out how they could pass the copyright clearance. And so just thinking of ways to maybe expand out from your ordinary, hey, I'm gonna bring a speaker, my DJ board, and play some music for y'all. What would actually give an experience? And so just being able to really have, I guess, an upper hand on where music creation in a live setting could go for DJing specifically. Yeah. No problem. No problem. And I do want to shout out, we just seen him walk in. Mr. Zeph Entertainment is in the building. He is the Z in VEZ. Him and I actually built, yeah, we can clap it up. Yeah. He and I actually built the studio, and I sent the flyer to him. I said, hey man, it'll mean a lot if you could be here. So I cannot take all the credit for being the sole founder, but it is myself, that guy right there, and then our other brother who is in Atlanta, Bondre. He is also the V in VEZ Productions. And so the VEZ, I'm the E, which stands for entrepreneur. Not entrepreneur, but entreproducer, which is my producer name. So we took all of our producer names and we combined them together to create VEZ Productions. So yeah, just wanted to shout him out, man. He's amazing at executive producing and just music all together. So yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Well, hello, Lewis.
Hey, hey.
It's so good to be here. And as you mentioned, the Institute for Music Business, and a few of our faculty and staff are out here as well. So if you're an IMB student that came out to support Lewis, just raise your hand. I see a few of our students.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
faculty, staff.
Appreciate it.
Back there. Can you talk about, as an entrepreneur, how important it is to connect with community organizations? You do a lot of charitable work and connect with community organizations as well. We use you as our DJ at our annual conference, and you set the vibe and you create the vibe, and you do more than just DJ. You teach line dances, you do like trivia questions, just everything to keep the energy going. But when you're not DJing, you come and you volunteer. You teach DJ courses, and you send staff to come to our vocational rehab classes as well for vocational training. So how important is it for you as you're building your business to stay connected to community organizations?
It's very important. It's so important because if you don't really give back or like find the time to integrate what you're doing as an entrepreneur in the community, you miss out on so much branding, so much exposure, so much connections, because you never know, what is it, like 3 degrees of a person who you may know will always change your life. And so just having that connection to connect with community organizations, schools, church groups, nonprofit organizations is a very big importance to me for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I gave, hey, yeah, hold on, wait. This is Miss Katrina Tuckerson of the Capital City Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm sorry, I'm always working. So Marina's like, stop working and get in here. But I just want to say, I'm gonna give y'all a funny story. He did one of our events, and this was before he had these clear mics. But y'all, we talking to now. I think we started with 2 mics.
2 mics, yep.
And the Capital City Chamber, no cameras, please. The the Capital City Chamber actually always work. How many years we've been working together?
I would say it's at least 8.
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
8 years,
Yeah.
because when I mess up, the music makes the room filled and you don't know I messed up.
Mhm.
And what VEZ has been able to do is fill that gap. So when we're not doing something properly on the stage at our chamber conference or anything, he just automatically knows to just go in with music and nobody know we missed a beat. I thank him for that. So it's very important when he said like fill that room and that vibe. He does that. This young man here is learning right on his curve, learning everything. Because when he sent him, I got scared. Like, where's VEZ? And I don't even call him VEZ since his name is Lewis.
Yeah.
But everybody call him just VEZ. One thing that happened at one of our events, and it was a no. And when I called him after the event, he was like, yes. But what happened? Was it the mics messed up or something messed up? Marina was there because she was like,
Yeah.
you guys need to get it together.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, since then he's added to his equipment. So each time, I see a lot of entrepreneurs, when they get that first check, they go blow it. That's not what you do.
Mhm.
You add to your equipment and upgrade, and that's what I've seen you do. And to see you sitting on this panel, I'm
Yeah.
loving it. I'm
Thank
just
you.
so happy for you, and
Thank you.
congratulations again.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Thank you. And that's Frank. Shout out to Frank. He has been clutch so much. Been several years, man, working with Frank. And then shout out to Nate. He has the VEZ Productions shirt on, but he has been doing our internship program for the spring semester. And I worked with him in the program here at FSU. And he was one of the students who I was paired with for the consulting. So shout out to Nate for taking us up on our offer for the internship and being amazing to just show up and getting it done, man.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much again, everybody, for joining us and for asking such great questions. I'm going to give the floor now to Marina Lixon, director of the Jim Moran Institute for North Florida, and Dr. Santos to close us out here tonight.
Nice.
Thank you all so much. This has been so much fun, right? We have pizza coming eventually. But before that, we have a special announcement. Marina.
So we're here tonight to make a celebration and honor one of our own. Tonight, I'm sorry, Susanna, I'm working towards it. Yeah, we present the Michael Boyce Award, an award created to honor an emerging entrepreneur in adverse circumstances and whose journey reflects resilience, purpose, and service.
This award carried the name of an extraordinary leader. Colonel Michael Boyce spent 30 years serving in the U.S. Marine Corps and then many more in public service, role modeling for the values on honor, courage, and commitment. This award was established to honor his leadership, mentorship, and commitment to the common good. And as you know, LEAP is part of a national network.
It's led by the University of Notre Dame, and each year in one of the 60 cities, one award is given in Michael Boyce's name to an individual who demonstrates honor, courage, commitment, faithfulness, persistence, discipline, and leadership.
And this is a surprise, but tonight we are announcing the FSU first Michael Boyce Award. And the recipient is Lewis
Thurston
II. Congratulations. Louis, see the surprise. Louis, from the moment you joined LEAP in the fall of 2024, you showed up and you showed us, all of us, what means to commit. You showed up consistently 6 weeks for the boot camp in the fall. Then you completed 4 months of mentoring with one of our small business mentors who was mentoring. And then he worked side by side with FSU students, Nate, Sam, just like you all here in this room during the third and last and most fun phase of LEAP during the fall.
But what makes you truly special, Lewis, it goes beyond participation. It's the impact, the kindness you bring to our community every day. I think we've all talked about that here tonight. There's a generosity in how you show up for your clients, for your community, and for all of us.
You give your time, you give your talent, you give your energy, and you don't expect nothing in return, as we just heard. And you just don't attend community events and be there. You are part of them. You bring them to life with your music, with your art, with your energy, with your kind heart, with your commitment, and with your impact. And through your commitment to give back, to show up, to be there, you are not only building a business, you are not building only VEZ, but you are building a legacy to help us uplift all of us and uplift our community.
Mm-hmm. I think what stands out even more is how your customers talk about you. You talked about that earlier. They talk about the joy you bring. They talk about the care you put into every moment and how you always go above and beyond. That's leadership. That's discipline. That's commitment. That's what Michael Boyce role modeled for all of us.
Lewis, your journey reflects everything that this award stands for. You have overcome. You have stayed faithful to your vision. You have led with heart. And you have done all of it while lifting others along the way. Others, FSU students, other small businesses, other partners, chambers, the business, everyone along the way. And we are so honored to be here with you. This award is yours. And we are proud of you, not just for what you have built, but for who you are. So it's our great honor to give you the Michael Boyce Award. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh my God. I got it. Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
And I don't know why Marina is not crying.
Doing my best.
Yeah. But this will be the first one too. That's amazing. That speaks volumes.
I think it calls for a rap.
A rap, okay. Let me see if I can pull one. Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Something.
I'm LSMOOTH. This is what I do. I stay true, so don't hate. I dance, I rap, and you know I produce. Control the music, can't let it control you. That's just a little bit, man. That's just a little bit, yeah. I gotta get Zeph up in, man. We gotta get a picture.
Join here for some pictures. And I heard pizza is coming on the elevator, so hang tight. And Louis, we're so happy for you. This was very special. It's a big deal. And I'm also happy that you are all here. Showing up, being part of LEAP is very important. And you can see how much the impact we have on each one of us. So for all the other LEAP folks here, maybe it's you next year. You never know.
For real.
So thank you, Louis, for the example.
Thank y'all. Yeah. And if anybody has any questions, want to chop it up, please feel free to get our contact. One time for Frank, I'm gonna bring Frank and Nate up here as well. We gotta get a picture of the team in the building. You stay up here too, please, please. It's been a journey to just be able to get people who will wear your shirts, like wear the logo on your shirt. So hold on, this is a monumental moment. All right, there we go. So we've come quite a long way. Yeah, man. And just real quick, I'm gonna give you the mic just for 2 seconds. Yeah, because you know how I am.
Well, I guess
Yeah, you got the good mic.
first of all, shout out to Lewis. You know, it goes without saying. Working with Lewis has been an honor. You know, there's a way he just brings everybody together. Like right now, he knows everybody. He does embody this award. I really do feel that, and I've watched him work very hard to keep standing through the storm. That's being an entrepreneur. And it's just it's emotional to sit here and watch this moment right now and to have my little stamp in the legacy. But I'm proud of you, bro. Keep doing your thing. We're always rooting. Always got your back, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, good, man. Got you. Appreciate it, man. Yeah. So yeah, anybody else? Feel free to definitely ask me any questions. Any more questions? Just now that we've done the celebratory, honorable, award-winning moment. Yeah, any?
How did the consulting project like help grow your business? And like, what was your experience being in this same position that are on right now?
So it helped me, one, because one of our interns, Justin, he brought an event to my space and we were able to house it. He has a recording company called Pulse.
I worked that event with
You worked that event?
I work with Wonky Town.
Yeah, okay. I was like, you do look familiar. So yeah, that's how it helped in one way. And then two, with Nate just being a willing intern to come in and see what it's all about, going from the consulting process to then saying, hey, I actually want to take it a step further and work at your company for a semester and offer my services. It's been beneficial in several different ways. And then shout out to Sam. I didn't think he was going to be the one asking me questions today, but he was also one of my consulting students. So it's helped my business tremendously in ways that I didn't see right then and there. And so it's kind of like a slow release pill. That's the best way I could describe it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You're welcome. Anybody else?
I guess what tips or advice would you give someone who like wants to get into like producing or just music in general?
Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to try, and don't give yourself grace through the process of creating, because your first couple tracks might not sound the way you may perceive them to actually be or become. And so having that trial and area and period that you'll be going through, you have to give yourself kind of like grace and really be able to stick it out. I would say just try all the sounds, try all the instruments, and just figure out, what resonates with you, because music is vibration, music is energy. And so just being able to connect with yourself through that will also kind of show you where you want to go and what kind of sound you want to be, what sound is unique to you. That's the best way to put it. Yeah. Anybody else?
Any other question?
Yep, we got another one.
And this is the last one, I promise. How do you determine what gig, I think is how you're saying it. What gig is worth your while? Or do you take on every opportunity for profit?
So I would say I determine what gigs are worth my while. One, just to see if it's a returning or repeat client. Two, brand exposure. Is this an opportunity where I might be able to cut back on some of my costs and cut into what profit I would make and actually just take that opportunity? If it's going to be a fun gig versus is it going to be just a regular run of the mill? They're going to ask me to turn it down 50 times. Like, yeah. So having those type of, I guess, moments or reserves or reservations will help me kind of determine what's worth my while. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yes.
What's next for VEZ? What do you want in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, you didn't hear it. I think I did get asked this question, but expansion to Jacksonville and the Destin area. I'm in Destin doing the residency, but just expanding while I'm over there. I did join the Destin Chamber of Commerce, and so hopefully from there, that can lead to getting more into like the destination weddings and then also expanding further west to maybe Pensacola. Yeah. Yes.
What's your most like memorable gig or like your biggest one?
So outside of the dance marathons, that's really the biggest one I would say I've done because they have at least like 5,000 students in the Civic Center. The T-Pain street naming ceremony was probably another big gig for me to see T-Pain come up and him come across and like shake my hand as if we was like old high school classmates. And he's like, yo, I appreciate the mix. You're doing your thing, making sure that the music was not just the only element that I presented well, but also the microphones, making sure the mic was well and clear for the mayor. Even though it did rain that day, my equipment got rained on, but it was still well worth it. As soon as we felt some drops come down, we started covering up speakers and everything, making sure to prevent. But that event specifically was one of the ones where I was like, let me make sure I use a wired mic instead of a wireless mic, because you don't want any options for frequency interference. And so that was a very big gig for me. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, before we wrap up and go and enjoy some pizza, I want to ask everyone for a great round of applause for our two hosts, Madison Miller and Sam. They were amazing. So thank you guys so much for dealing with my 1,000 emails and all of that. But thank you. You were both amazing. And Louis, our final huge round of applause and congratulations. Thank you all so much. Let's have fun.